Today I'm going to show you how to develop black and white film, specifically with the DF96 MONOBATH from Cinestill. It is ridiculously easy. You can get it done in 5 minutes, which is ridiculous. By the end of this video, I want you to be able to develop black and white negatives just like that. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, you know the drill, and also I want you to smash that like button. Okay, this is probably the most important part of the video. Photochemicals are highly toxic, so please use gloves and develop in a well-ventilated area. I shot my video on my desk, but please do it in a ventilated area. I usually develop in my bathroom just because it has a fan, but it's not really the best place to shoot examples. So stay safe doing film development. You'll thank me later. Alright, we're going to go through the required materials. First thing you're going to need is the DF96 MONOBATH from Cinestill. Thankfully this one hasn't been going out of stock as much as the CS41 color negative kit. I guess that's good news. Second thing you're going to need is a Patterson tank. You can have the smaller one or the larger one. I have both, depends on what you're shooting. I like to use the larger one for medium format because I could do 2 at a time. Smaller one, I can only do 1 medium format at a time. So it's up to you. Third thing you're going to need is a changing bag. A changing bag is useful because you could put film in the Patterson tank in this small changing bag that is portable, so you can do whatever you want while you're putting your film in the Patterson tank. Well, not whatever, but you know what I mean. You can multitask. The fourth thing you're going to need is a thermometer. Make sure to get a digital waterproof thermometer, because if your thermometer is not waterproof and water gets on it and it's busted, then that's no bueno. And that was it for required materials. There are some optional materials. The first optional material is a 35mm canister opener. I know I talked about this on my last video. It's nice to have this because it makes your workflow faster. At least for me, it makes my workflow faster. The second optional thing is a sous vide, a water cooker. This is because with a water cooker, you can set the temperature however you want to. With DF96, it's not really needed, but I like to develop my black and white film at the temperature that is recommended, which is 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It's nice to have a water cooker so that you have control over the temperature of the water. And the last optional thing you need is a plastic container. So with DF96, temperature isn't that important. The recommended temperature is from 70 to 80 Fahrenheit. I have added a chart down below from Cinestill that tells you the push and pull temperatures for each film stock. Generally, all film stocks will be fine at 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what I recommend. Here are a quick few things about DF96 that you should probably know about. The DF96 chemical will last around 2 months if the seal is open, but I have worked around plus minus a month or 2. But I'd still recommend the 2 month. If the DF96 is not sealed, it has a 1 year shelf life. You can develop around 16 to 18 rolls of film with 1 DF96 chemical. To see if your chemical is expired or not, the chemical turns yellow or a dark amber color, so be aware of that. One thing you can do to check is to cut off a small amount of film and toss it in a small container with the chemicals in it and see if the film becomes transparent. Before we move on, if you are enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe, and you know the drill, smash that like button. Thanks. Okay, back to the video. An important thing with developing black and white film with DF96 is the agitation process. There are 3 different types of agitation with DF96. The first one is constant agitation. This is when you're working at the recommended temperature, which is 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and this is exactly what it means. You're going to be constantly agitating the film, which means you could do inversions, rotations, changing directions, stuff like that. What I like to do is I'll agitate with a agitation stick and I'll spin to the left 15 seconds and then spin to the right for 15 seconds. The second form of agitation is the intermittent agitation. This is when the chemical is at 75 degrees Fahrenheit What you'll do is a 30-second of continuous agitation when the chemical's first in the Patterson tank, and then you'll do 10 seconds of agitation every minute. And then the third form of agitation is the minimal agitation. This is when your chemicals are at the temperature of 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and you will do 10 seconds of gentle agitation, and then you'll do 5 seconds of agitation every minute. But yeah, the way they described how to do the agitation doesn't make total sense. So I just stick to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'll usually try to stick to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, but I have done constant agitation at 75 degrees Fahrenheit and my film turned out okay. So there is some safe space and you shouldn't worry too much. Now we're gonna go through the development process. The first step of the process is the pre-rinse process. During this process, I like to have my distilled water at 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the recommended temperature, although I've found that anything between 75 to 80 is usually fine. And then I'll let the water sit in the Patterson tank for around a minute. After that, you'll take the water out and throw it away. The second step is to add the DF96 MONOBATH into the Patterson tank. If your chemical is at 80 degrees Fahrenheit, you'll do a constant agitation for 3 minutes. If your chemical is at 75 degrees Fahrenheit, you'll do a intermittent agitation for 4 minutes straight. If your chemical is at 70 degrees Fahrenheit, you'll do a minimal agitation for 6 minutes. Once that is done, you'll pour the chemical back into the DF96 container, and your film should be done. Pretty simple, eh? The longest you can take is a 6-minute agitation process. Once that is done, I will take my Patterson tank and wash it down. And what I like to do is I like to take the film out of the spool and wash it. I like to use tap water at around 80 degrees Fahrenheit so it stays a constant temperature. Here's one extra tip, since we are developing film with toxic chemicals, so make sure you use gloves. What I like to do when I'm washing with water is to lightly hold the film with these gloves and wipe it down and clean the film negative. After we wash the negatives, we are gonna dry it. I like to dry my negatives by hanging it on a hanger with alligator clips, which I have mentioned in my C41 development video, so if you're interested, or description box. And once the film is dry, I recommend 3 to 5 hours of drying the film. You can take it and cut it up, put it in an archival sheet. And when you're flattening the film, make sure to have 4 to 5 books or textbooks with you. I like to put these books on top of the archival sheet with the film in it. Don't do it without the archival sheet. And I'll let it sit overnight. And you should be set. It was that easy. I've found out that DF96 makes my photos come out a little bit contrasty and a little bit more grainy, but that's what I like, so I don't really mind. So if you don't mind, then it's an easy way to develop black and white film. Here are a few photos that I took that I developed with DF96, so hope you guys enjoy. I also forgot that I took portraits of my 2 friends, Jake and James, in the black and white pictures that I'm gonna show you. Make sure to check out their stuff on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and smash that like button. I guess you could dislike it too. Anyways, I am very active on Instagram, so if you have any questions, make sure to follow me here. And I will answer back your questions. Without further ado, David is out.